Welcome back, listeners. We have the start of something strange and wonderful for you this week. This is episode 1 of Paxton and the Rug Buds, a miniseries that reveals what happened after Paxton re-entered World 83. It will have different players over time, but this week the players are Bryan as Paxton, Brandon as Hempen Lumpen, and Padraig as Fire Lumpen. Pink, aka the Pink Pastor, has generously volunteered to serve as DM for this miniseries. You've heard all these folks before on previous episodes. And now I'm excited to present to you Paxton and the Rug Buds, episode 1.
Greetings, everyone. This is the Pink Pastor, aka Pink. I'm here to run this podcast into the ground. Today we're joined by Bryan, aka Paxton, or aka Bryan. Is there anything you'd like to share with us?
I can't think of anything. Just very excited to get back into World 83.
Perfect. So currently, Paxton, you're falling. You're falling through space and air and clouds. And as you fall, you've forgotten from being from the outside of just how beautiful your world is. It's so easy to kind of lose sight of its majesty when you're just seeing it from inside of a glass jar. But as you fall, you see the beauty of it. To the north, you see the sprawling pines of the great forest. To the west, you see the spires of the wizarding towers belonging to the Magistry. To the south, you're able to see all these sprawling towns and villages of the Free Cities. And then to the east, you see the Iron Empire, shrouded by the vast metal mountains behind it. Below you, you see a rival, and it's approaching quickly. It's at this point that you realize that you didn't bring Featherfall or anything. You just kind of jumped in.
Mm-hmm.
What is the falling damage for like several miles in the air?
Is it 10d6 or 20d6? Let me check that.
Well, getting out was easy. I thought getting back in would be easy too.
No, you're just falling. You got to think quickly. It's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming, Bryan.
Oh, it's 20d6.
Okay, I hope someone is going to be nearby to revive the road pizza that I'm about to turn into.
Yeah, so this is actually how the podcast is going to end, just with a red smear on the ground of arrival. But no, as you're falling, you approach. You see some specks down in the distance. They look to be people just wandering around Arrival. You see the tarps that make up Arrival, and
yeah, I want to aim for the tarps.
You're gonna aim for try and skydive your way down.
Yeah, I wonder if that's what the tarps are for.
Yeah,
it suddenly makes sense that there's tarps all over the middle of the city.
Yeah, I think I'll be honest with you. I think Featherfall is expected. I don't think they're titanium or anything like that. But before we do this, I did want to pause for a brief second. We return once again to outside of the jar. Braille has just kind of wandered away after finding out that her friend Brock has been a doppelganger this time. She sees Koldik, another guard, approaching. She informs him of what's happened and transpired. She leaves. Koldik himself walks over to the jar, sees it still open, has heard that you just fell down into it. He pulls out from his pocket some copper wire. He looks down into the jar, and suddenly the copper wire burns away from his hand. He stands there looking down into the jar, and then he nods. He closes the lid. He walks over to the lever beside the jar and says, "Well, I guess it's time for Plan B." And he switches it to 10 times. Now, returning back to Paxton as you fall to your death.
Uh-huh.
Within a couple hundred feet, you see people. At first, a few of them seem excited to see someone entering, but then people seem to become more and more worried and frantic as they see you falling at a much more rapid pace than they were expecting. Until finally, something hits you, and you are feather falling.
How close to the tarps am I once I start feather falling?
You're about 20 feet away from the tarps before you start feather falling.
Say, wow, these tarps must be really, really high quality if they can stop me from 20 feet away.
They're not. You go through the tarp.
Even feather falling? Oh boy.
It slows your descent, but your descent was going pretty quick. So you're going to fall and you're going to take 3d6.
That I might be able to survive.
All right. I rolled. Are you going to roll it?
Oh, if you rolled it, then that's fine.
Well, let's see who did better. I rolled 12 damage.
Oh, I rolled 10.
All right. Well, we'll go with yours. We'll be kind.
All right.
So you take 10 damage as you tear through the tarp, this blue tarp that was suspended between different buildings and arrival, and you come down hard with several people standing around you, many in surprise, a few looking at you quite strangely, but as well as one elf who seems to be crossing his arms, looking at you with some sort of amusement in his eyes.
Do I recognize the elf?
You do not. He has short blonde hair and green robes.
I suppose I pick myself up off the ground and kind of dust myself off. Did I do any damage to the ground?
Yeah, there's in the cartoons where they burst through the walls and there's like the silhouette of a person.
Uh-huh.
There's like a little silhouette of a Paxton right on the ground.
I kind of look around at the crowd that's staring at me and I say, all went according to plan. I'll fix that later. Bye. And then start walking away because that was embarrassing.
As you start walking away, a few of the people who had surrounded you, they're wearing these blue robes, and they approach you and they say, You're of the Descended.
The what?
We praise you. We praise you. What news do you bring from the heavens?
A lot, brother. I got a lot to say. I don't know who to say it to, though. Who are you?
The one of them who's in the lead, he introduces himself. He says, I am Marcus of the Overworld Watch. We praise you as one of the Descended. We recognize that you are a deliverer who has been to the heavens and has returned to save us.
Okay, I want to do an insight check to see if this person is, seems sane or not.
All right. Roll an insight check.
All right. That is a 16.
All right, yes, he seems to be incredibly genuine. He's got, little beads of sweat coming down his forehead. He's obviously incredibly excited.
Hold on. That's not what I asked. I didn't ask if he was genuine and excited. I think that is clear. I'm asking if he seems sane and not crazy. Does he have that kind of gleam to his eye like he's not all there?
Does he got the crazy look in his eyes? Is that what
yes.
Yeah, he's got the crazy look in his eyes.
Okay.
Tell me, Descended, what news do you bring? Is our founder alive? Is he alive?
Your founder?
Yes, we first heard tidings of the one you call Gerlos. He brought us news from the heavens. Is he safe?
I don't know. Do I know if Gerlos is safe?
Well, you saw him outside.
Yeah.
He was doing his usual bumbling around and acting confused.
Yeah, dude, he's fine. Chill out.
Oh, praise the Descended. Oh, my goodness, that is so good to hear. Just tell us, what news do you bring? What are you going to solve all of the troubles that besiege our world?
Yeah, but first I need to get something to eat and take a nap, because that hurt.
So as you're talking, as you say this, the elf walks up next to you, and he seems to be relatively young as far as elf years go. He's probably not cresting 100. He comes up, he grabs you by the elbow, and he goes, Hey, haha, yeah, let's see about that food and that rest here, buddy. Hey, so anyways, are you not going to thank me for saving your life just a couple of minutes ago? I mean, I just really just kind of swooped in and saved you. I feel like you would have been a pancake down here, but...
How'd you save me? I smacked straight into the ground.
Well, did you notice that?
I don't feel safe.
I mean, you didn't notice the slight descent? You didn't notice that all of a sudden you just got a little bit lighter? You didn't notice the fact that you're not just paste on the ground of arrival at the moment?
I have a very high AC, and a lot of HP, so it's probably fine.
I don't know what any of that means. But anyways, it's nice to meet you. Charles Faster is the name. I'm here to take care of you. I've got somebody I think you need to see, but we'll get some food in you.
Who is that?
Oh, he's told me about you. I think you're gonna recognize him, and so he just continues to pull you along. Will you go with him?
I'm not sure. This guy seems like he's maybe crazier than the other ones. So he is not wearing a blue robe like these other Overwatchers are, right?
Let me describe him a little bit more. He's wearing these green robes. He does have some sort of like leather armor over them a little bit. He's got a rapier on his waist, as well as what appears to be some sort of like bag with pipes inside of it, and also it appears to be some sort of musical instrument.
Interesting, a bard. Let's see. Well, so how many of those Overwatcher people are there? What were they called again?
So others refer to them as the Cult of the Overworld.
Mm-hmm.
They refer to themselves as, I think, the Overworld Watch. I honestly forgot what I said 5 seconds ago. But yeah, the Overworld Watchers, they apparently worship the Descended, or those who come from outside.
Well, they must be a relatively new cult then, because I don't know. I don't know how long it's been in here, but Gerlos couldn't have come back inside more than... Man, I'm really bad at thinking about how long that would be like in game time.
Yeah, so Gerlos, he came back and he just started basically blabbing and telling everybody about this outside world. And is apparently spread, and some people have twisted what he said and now have kind of celebrated him as this prophet. And they've created their own religion based off of this outside world and the people who come from it. Interesting.
And then there's this other guy who is trying to pull me away from people that are worshiping me.
Yep.
Okay.
And he said he'd give you food and rest, but he also wanted you to meet somebody.
Okay. I think I'm gonna go with that guy. Tell the Overworld Watchers that I'll meet up with them later.
All right. They bow to you.
Wait, do you have a church or a place where I can meet up with you if I need you?
Yes, of course, Descended. We would love for you to come and to share perhaps a short sermon if you would like. Yes, you'll find us at the tents to the south of Arrival.
Okay, tents to the south of Arrival. Got it.
Praise be.
You too, bud. I go with the elf guy.
So the elf guy, he continues walking. So tell me, if I got this right, are you Paxton?
Yeah, how'd you know?
Oh, so I've heard about you. I've heard a lot about you. Yeah, yep. You seem to be a good guy. I like all the things you've been doing doing around and going and trying to help out. Anyways, I'm gonna bring you to my friend over here, and then we'll see about that food and that place to sleep.
Sounds good. Who's your friend? What's their name?
Well, he's got a bit of a flair for the dramatic. I don't think he would tell you so himself, but yeah, he does. So, anyways, I'm just gonna let you meet him.
Okay.
So he brings you what appears to be a very large government building towards the center. So as you make your way to the center of Arrival, you see the shattered remains of the Soljar, as well as the town square and the circle. And so the building, it's a bit to the west of that. And you approach this big office building, and he makes his way inside. As he walks through, people nod at him. Finally, he approaches this door. Before he steps up to it, he looks at you and he goes, "Hey, so before we go, just whenever you finish this, just come find me. We've got some stuff to talk about."
Okay, what's your name and where are you going to be?
He goes, "Charles Faster at your service. Me and my whole family at your service. So I'll be at the inn next door. Don't worry about it."
Is that Faxter?
Charles Faster.
Faster, okay.
Yes, because if you've met somebody else, I'm Faster.
Okay, got it. That should be easy to remember.
Yep.
All right, well, thank you, Charles. I guess I'm going to go talk to whoever you brought me here to talk to then, right?
Yep, and he kind of waves his fingers like in front of your face like mysteriously. And then winks at you and walks off.
I'm uncomfortable with that.
Yep.
So did he bring me to like a door?
Yeah, it's a very intimidating, it's like black wooden door in the middle of this government building.
I will not be intimidated by anything that is inside of a bottle now that I've been outside of it. This is child's play to me.
Very sizist of you.
Yeah. Yes. So I want to knock on the door.
As you knock on the door, you wait a second, you hear footsteps inside, and the door opens, and you see standing in front of you a Tolf.
Oh, hey.
Ah! Paxton!
Gotta have the Arnie shriek. I love it.
Ah! Paxton! It's good to see you!
Hey, Atolf. It's been a while.
Yes. Yes, it has. Oh, yes, I didn't know when I would see you again.
How are things going?
There is so much going on, Paxton. Oh, there is so much craziness happening inside of the world.
Yeah. Can I maybe do a history check to see what I remember about Atolf? Because I remember the Arnold Schwarzenegger voice, and I remember that I think he was with the Magistracy. Is that correct?
Yes.
Is there anything else I should know about him based on my history that I might be forgetting?
Mike?
Yeah, sure. So you remember that his task among the wizards of the Magistracy was that he was a secret keeper. He was the person who was in charge of making sure that state secrets stayed secret, and that if there was important knowledge that needed to be suppressed, he would suppress it.
Huh. Okay. Then he sounds like exactly the person that I want to talk to, assuming he's not a doppelganger. Except for I don't have any zone of truth left, because I burned them all outside of the jar. So I don't want to tell him anything important until I've been able to confirm that he is in fact a Tulf. It's going to be an interesting way to navigate this conversation. So yeah, Atolf, what did you want to talk to me about?
Well, I'm surprised. I didn't know when you were coming. I didn't know who would come back into the jar. There's so much talk. Man, I'm losing the Arnold voice.
It's hard to maintain.
Yeah. Yes. There has been so much talk of what is going on outside. Tell me, what has been going on?
So, Atolf, how do I phrase this? I have a lot of things that I would love to talk to you about, but for reasons that will become clear later, I'm not sure if I can trust you. I need to do something first, so you are going to need to let me take a rest before we continue this conversation.
The doppelgangers.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I've heard of them. We've heard many rumors regarding the Emperor being a doppelganger.
Yes.
I have spoken with Mun myself.
So Mun's clued in on this whole doppelganger situation?
Yes, he reported to me. He told me of the doppelgangers.
So if you work with the Magistracy, I had this problem way back when we were first recording. I could never pronounce it. What didn't we just call them the Keepers?
You did sometimes call them,
Yeah,
Keepers
the
of Arcane
Keepers.
Knowledge.
Between Mun and the Keepers, if you all know about this doppelganger problem, do you have a way of detecting who's a doppelganger and who's not?
No, unfortunately, it's been very difficult to figure out who is a doppelganger and who is not. Because even with the Zone of Truth, they have sometimes figured out ways to get around it.
How would they get around it?
Is either by not speaking, or apparently there are some spells that they can use to get around it and make it seem like they are still speaking the truth.
Interesting. Well, it seems like you know a lot about this situation, but you can totally understand why a doppelganger would also tell me all this information, right?
I understand, but you think this is not the real Atolf? It is!
That's what a doppelganger would say, bro.
Yes. Very well. But before we go, there is something that you can help me with, something that might be of your interest.
Sure.
Please, follow me.
Okay.
He then leaves the government building in quite the huff.
Mm-hmm.
A couple people come to him with paperwork and some other things to try and get him to sign off on things and do things, but he just kind of brushes them off and keeps walking. He walks to the building next door that seems to be attached somehow. He makes his way in. Now you notice that there's actually some armed guards here.
Mm-hmm.
They step to the side as he approaches. They look at you warily, not really recognizing you. But finally, he makes his way down a set of stairs, finally to a room with a lock on the outside with one posted guard.
Mm-hmm.
There has been very strange goings-on inside of the world. There has been much confusion and chaos since you left.
Mm-hmm. Can you tell me how long it's been since I left?
I think
a few months.
Yeah,
a few months. Okay.
Like 3 to 4 months, something like that.
I basically haven't been back in since the soul jar bursted and pushed us all up out of the jar, right?
Correct.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Okay, a few months, that's not that bad. So lots happened in the few months since I left, you're saying?
Yes, very strange. Those doppelgangers, and then the Iron Empire. But beyond that, there have been strange creatures who have begun appearing among the countryside.
Like what?
See for yourself. And he opens the door, and inside you see 2 what appear to be little ragmen.
Are these are Lumpens?
Well, so they seem a little bit similar, but they also look different. So, Brandon, why don't you describe your character?
Yeah, this is a little cloth, like a vaguely humanoid-shaped cloth guy, like a poorly made children's doll, made mostly out of hemp. But there are a couple of patches of other material on him now. Like there's just a little chunk of was it leather or maybe asbestos or something like that? And trailing out behind from his little hemp neck is a scrap of cloth that sort of floats in the breeze, kind of like a Superman cape or something like that. If you remember the cloak of flying that we chopped up. And he's got 2 different size and colored buttons where his eyes should be. And he's kind of poorly stitched, and he's clutching what looks like a piece of a gnarled tree branch, and he looks up at you and he says, "Hi, I'm Lumpen."
Brandon, do you have anything you'd like to plug? Welcome back to the podcast.
Yes, hi. I guess I'll introduce myself again. I'm Brandon, and I played Hemp Lumpen in the original Lumpen episodes, and I also played Beef in the Cow episodes. And yeah, I draw a more or less weekly webcomic called Love and Hex, which is about a retired adventurer who's dating a night hag. It's ridiculous. But I invite you to read it.
Yep. You also played Daft Reptile long time before then, right?
That's right. In the holiday episode, I played a low wisdom turtle wizard with a pterodactyl familiar.
Yep. And now, Padraig, would you mind introducing yourself and what your character looks like?
So, in front of Paxton, he sees what looks like a blacksmith's apron, but very shrunk down with and kind of malformed, malshapen, so that it's got little arms where it's hooks to go onto the back of a blacksmith are, and they're kind of waving frenetically around the place. It's charred very badly from fire, although seemingly repaired in places, much like Hempen Lumpen. There's like a patch of a handkerchief on one side. There's a little piece of flying material coming off the back of him, and he is waving frantically and saying, "Hi, I'm Lumpen too." That is Fire Lumpen. And then I am Padraig, and I just go by @paintingpoorly on Twitter, and that is just about it at the moment. Not cool like the others.
Very cool.
You don't have anything you want to plug?
No, I am not making anything at the moment. Putting stuff on Twitter sometimes, trying to get Dungeon Alchemist working. So you might see some maps and things like that appear from time to time, but nothing.
No paintings?
The painting sometimes, but painting poorly all the time.
I would disagree that you're not making anything at the moment. You are making a podcast, my friend.
That's true.
Right.
Pink, I want to compliment you. Well, at first, I wanted to compliment you on your Schwarzenegger voice, but as you kind of went on, it started more to sound like it was Schwarzenegger if he were a Muppet, but I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, that's what I'm going for. Schwarzenegger Muppet.
Paxton wants to ask the lumpen that is made of a blacksmith robe that's charred. You said you're Lumpen 2. Is that Lumpen as well, or like Lumpen number 2? Like you're Lumpens 1 and 2?
Well, I'm Lumpen, and he's Lumpen 2, and I'm Lumpen 2 too.
Well, that clears things up perfectly.
I think simultaneously, like in perfect chorus, we'd probably both say, We're Lumpen.
Okay. So I look at Atolf and I say, so what do you know about these fellows so far?
They have been causing a great deal of confusion and chaos. They claim to be trying to help, but they have been causing more destruction than they have been helping.
What kind of chaos and destruction? They look pretty chill.
This little one over here, and he points to the fire blacksmith Lumpen. He originally had a wand of fireballs. We had to take it out of his possession.
Yeah.
And let us just say that there are certain buildings in Arrival that are no longer standing.
Ooh. Well, so these are obviously rag golems of some sort, right?
I, as Lumpen, can say that some of those things were things that happened because we were helping. Fire does cook food, so a fireball in a bakery makes bread faster.
Can't argue with that logic.
But we don't even know why he was trying to make the food. He can't even eat.
You see the fire Lumpen like lift up this cookie and says, I haven't figured out yet, but I think I can do it. And he just is moving the top of the apron over this cookie over and over again. And it's like, see?
Atolf yells at him. He goes, "Put the cookie down now!"
He takes it and
How well baked does the cookie look?
It's baked enough that you don't have to worry about it ever going off. I think it's more carbon than cookie at this point.
Okay, I see. In this Hempen Lumpen, what did he do that was so bad?
He's been very strange. He's been talking to plants and trying to become friends with them. But a few of them, he has turned them into living creatures.
That's impressive.
It's always good to have more friends. Plants have a lot to say.
These rag golems make great points.
I do not know what to make of them. They are very different than the other Lumpen whom I've heard of.
Yeah, Mun's Lumpen, right?
Yes.
So Mun created that Lumpen. Who created these? We don't know.
Mun did, I think. We woke up in his tower, and I think it was his body that we burned by accident. We were trying to warm it up.
We were helping.
He seemed cold.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He was cold, and then he was warm. And then he got a little too warm. And
then he was gone.
Yeah.
He was gone. Is Mun dead?
No. Maybe?
We don't know what does that mean?
He's immortal, right?
He is immortal.
So from what I've heard, it seems you have confessed to murder.
Well, the body that was in the box was very cold and not moving when we found it. So we were trying to help it come back.
At this point, Atolf looks over at you, Paxton, and he says, "What should we do with them? If it were up to me, I have said that we should just burn the two and be done with it."
My experience with, the Lumpen Classic was that he ended up being pretty helpful. And I think that maybe these fellas can be helpful too. They just need a bit of adult supervision to make sure that their impulse to be helpful is expressed practically. You know what I mean?
He looks at you, and then he looks at them, and then he looks at you again, and then he looks at them, and then he looks at you again.
Are you saying you want to join us on our quest to save the world? And Hemplumpen walks up to Paxton and just puts his little cloth limb in your hand.
Yeah, Paxton shakes his hand. He's like, "Yeah, I think
it's more like a child holding an adult's hand than a handshake."
I think he's he's wanting you to take him wherever you're going.
Yeah, bud, climb in my backpack. We're going for an adventure.
Okay.
Woohoo!
He climbs into your backpack and starts trying to talk to the backpack. Hi, I'm Lumpens.
Cool.
Who are you?
I'd walk over to Paxton and I start climbing his leg. Like each of the, I assume Paxton's in heavy armor, isn't he?
Yes.
So yeah, the little Lumpen just puts like each of his arms up in through the cracks to try and climb up onto his shoulder. And once he eventually gets up there, he takes out this cookie and like offers part of it to Paxton.
Paxton takes a bite. How bad is it?
Imagine if you had a child that, you allowed your child to make cookies, but they started adding in Play-Doh and sulfur and other spell components into a cookie.
Does he need to make a con save?
I don't think Lumpen would be silly enough to use something that could be poisonous. But you might find like a bit of thread throughout the entire thing.
Yeah, Paxton is going to chew very carefully and slowly before swallowing.
Roll a con save, Bryan.
All right. That is an 8.
All right.
Give this man his long rest.
You take 3 poison damage.
Oh, boy.
I think he liked it.
I made it myself.
Yeah, but it was real good.
Very well. If you wish to be in charge of them, then you are responsible for what chaos they cause.
Hey, guys. And I look back to the Lumpens and I say, don't do anything magic or do any helping without asking me first, because we want to keep the destruction to a minimum. You want to keep hanging out, right?
Yeah,
of course.
Sure.
You seem cool.
Okay, then we got to behave.
At that point, you see, like, as Fire Lumpen starts walking away, you start seeing maybe something start to blink and flash light on the desk table. The quill that was on the desk just starts blinking light every 6 seconds.
Like it's trying to ignite.
More like somebody had set an alarm on the quill, and it's just like flashing light out of it.
Okay, I'm glad you said that because I was thinking like a detonator.
Yeah.
He's already set off the bomb.
So I shouldn't have put a writing light on that quill. And he like looks at Paxton.
Did you do this so you could write in the dark?
Well, I don't need to see in the dark, but other people might need to. So I set it to flash. And see, look, it flashes on and off and on and off. So you can see what word you're writing. And then it turns off again so that it saves magic.
That's really cool. Can you turn it off? Like, completely?
He looks at it and looks back at Paxton and says, I can if I do it to 2 more things.
It's probably fine.
We will talk tomorrow. You look like you're in need of a rest.
Yeah. Where do you recommend that I would take a rest at around here?
There is an inn just a few short steps from here. It is called the Don't Go Inn.
Oh, wow. It's a very enticing title.
I think it is humor, but it is not humor.
Yeah, you don't sound like you're that big on jokes, right?
No, but your levity is good. It relieves tension and the fear of death.
What can you tell me about this cult of people that are like the Overworld Watchers, I think they were called? What info do you have on them? Are they trustworthy or just absolutely crazy?
They are crazy.
Are they dangerous?
No, I do not believe they are dangerous. But they have been causing lots of disturbances here as they set up all-night vigils waiting for people to descend from outside of the world.
Interesting. Well, I'm going to go get some rest, and then I should come back here maybe tomorrow to talk to you about stuff, or would you want me to meet with in a different place with other people, or like how you want to run this? Because I did want to talk to Mun and the Magistracy, the keepers.
Mun is not inside of the world. However, He goes, I may be able to arrange a meeting with the magistracy, but you may have to give me time.
So, what major factions in the world are aware of this doppelganger situation and working on it? You know, you got the Keepers and you got the Iron Empire, but they seem like they are kind of involved in it, like they are the victims of this situation, right?
Oh, you've heard of doppelgangers? We met one of those guys. He said that there was an emperor who was a doppelganger, and we're supposed to do something about it.
Huh. Who'd you hear that from?
From a doppelganger who got punched through the chest by some armor.
They are not very reliable witnesses.
Yeah. Huh.
He was trying to kill us, and then I wished that he would be nice, and then he told us all about their plans.
Have you debriefed these Lumpens?
I'm not wearing any briefs.
That was really good.
Atal just stares at you. He does not like these jokes and where they're going.
The Hempen Lumpen says that a doppelganger told the Hempen Lumpen. Did the doppelganger tell both of you their plans?
Yeah, we were all together.
Yeah, he was real nice. After Lumpen, wished that he was nicer. And then he went really quiet, kind of like Mun. And then we took our handy friend and we left to go save the world.
So that's your goal, is to save the world from these doppelgangers that revealed their plans to you?
Well, we're supposed to save the world. We're not clear on who from.
Well, we'll figure that out later.
I think maybe I should jump in here and give the listener a reminder about some details they may have forgotten if it's been a while since they listened to the Oops All Lumpens episodes. So let me remind the listener that the Lumpens woke up in the basement of Mun's tower and found Mun's old body before he moved into his magical body, his corpse, basically, in a coffin. And they thought that he was cold and needed to be warmed up, so they burned his body and then eventually managed to escape the basement and found a doppelganger there trying to do something presumably harmful. And they ended up fighting the doppelganger, at least did they really fight him? I guess they sort of fought him,
There
right?
was a fight. He cut one of us in half, I think.
Right,
Yes, he did.
right. Yeah. Then some animated armor came in and joined the fight. Hempen Lumpen had a few wish spells and wished that the doppelganger would be nice, and it worked, of course. And the doppelganger shared some secret plans about the Iron Emperor being a doppelganger and how he wanted to take over the world and all sorts of scary stuff. And then the animated armors killed the doppelganger.
Okay.
That's a little bit of background in case listeners can't remember months ago what happened with the Lumpens.
Friendships come and go.
But we're still friends with Andrew, right?
Yeah, whatever happened to him?
Good question.
Yeah, that's a good question. The Lumpens that are currently here, we wanted to get all the Lumpens, but unfortunately there are some contract disputes. Just a couple of them were just wanting just too much money.
Mm-hmm.
So we were only able to get these two because they were willing to settle. But
We only had a 50% increase.
Yeah. But Andrew, he was on the boat with you guys that you guys took to get to Arrival. However, he seems to have disappeared. So after you guys arrived at Arrival, you caused some of the chaos that we've already talked about, and then finally you were told by a few soldiers to come with them, and then you just happily agreed before they threw you into prison. But Andrew seems to have disappeared during that time, and you're not quite sure where he is.
So I think I already asked this of Atolf, but I wasn't clear on what the answer was. It sounds like these Lumpens are saying that a doppelganger revealed the extent of their plans to them, so they heard all that and remember it. Does Atolf know what the doppelgangers told the Lumpens?
Did he believe us when we told him if we did tell him?
Yeah, so he has heard you guys' whole stories. He's still a little skeptical. He's not quite sure if a doppelganger really would be able to make its way all into the upper echelon of the Iron Empire. However, he seems to be open to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's still a little bit skeptical of these little rag golems who are claiming these extravagant stories.
Yeah, I can see that. Well, So it seems like it is the Magistracy is the faction that is trying to lead this anti-doppelganger fight. Are there more people involved in it? Or is it just Atolf working on this doppelganger problem while the Keepers do other stuff?
Currently, we are just trying to gather information. We have not prepared an assault or anything of the sort until we know more. I plan on making a voyage towards the Iron Empire to find out what I can for myself.
Okay. Sounds like a plan. All right. I think I need a rest before I go on. And just Atolf, you don't seem to be concerned that I'm a doppelganger, right?
I had not thought of that, but I suppose I should ask. Paxton, what was the animal that we both tried to capture when we first met?
So, I think we were calling it a grick, right?
Some tension seems to leave his face and body, and he...
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. So you know that I'm not a doppelganger, but I still don't know if you're a doppelganger. Let me think of a question I could ask you. When you were chasing after us, as we were making our way away from the Free Cities and you were following us, what was your camping setup like?
My camping?
Yeah. How were you protecting yourself? We went to go check out your campsite and we saw something. What did we see?
My tent?
Mike, do you know the answer to this?
I do know the answer. And the question is, does Pink remember the answer?
I'm trying to remember. Did it involve a spell?
Yes.
I know of many spells. Was it the tiny hut?
Yes. Ding, 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 ding. You are not a doppelganger. And he gives Atolf a big hug. Because now he feels the tension go out of his body as well.
Yes, yes.
Lumpen climbs out of Paxton's backpack and also joins in the hug.
It should be said that Atolf does not return the hug. He just kind of stands there with his arms to his sides and just kind of allows it to happen.
To be expected. Well, I now trust that you're not a doppelganger, so getting some rest so that I can get my zone of truth back isn't as pressing of a worry. I guess this is a good way to detect if someone is a doppelganger if you have a history with them, is to ask them a question that only they would know. But that's the thing I'm really concerned about, is how am I going to tell if strangers that I'm talking to are a doppelganger or not? And I'm sure that the Keepers are dealing with a problem like this too, right?
Oh, I could help you with that.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, it hurts. I got a spell.
You talking about torture over there, man? It's getting a little dark for a little Lumpens man.
No. I got a spell that'll, I mean, it summons down a beam of moonlight, and the moonlight reveals your true form, but also hurts a lot.
Yeah. That's, we did that outside the jar, and if they might survive.
The DM looks confused.
Yeah, I have no. We are not going to attack anyone or cause damage to the townspeople. We will find another way.
So Atolf, at this point, he seems to be growing a little impatient.
Go get some rest. Because I must prepare for my voyage to the Iron Empire, and I would like for you to join me if you can, Paxton.
Okay. Do you have support from the Keepers? You have resources? You have a plan, or?
No. I am used to doing things solo.
Okay. Well, you want me to just meet you here tomorrow then?
You may meet me in my office. Goodbye.
And he walks out very sternly. And the guards seem to be getting a little fidgety with their weapons. They're a little nervous around these Lumpens.
Okay, Lumpens, we're gonna leave this room where you've been held captive. You gotta promise not to do any magic without talking to me about it first. Do we have a deal?
Okay.
I promise not to do any magic unless you say to do magic.
Yes, that's great. So you guys don't eat or sleep or anything like that, right?
What's sleep?
You sleep?
No, what's sleep?
Oh. It's where you shut your eyes and you go quiet for a little while and you just kind of rest. Yeah, I don't guess that you would sleep, but I need to sleep.
Okay.
So don't light me on fire, okay?
Can we watch you sleep?
Sure. Let's go find a place to sleep.
Okay.
And we walk out of that building where they were keeping him held hostage.
When we're leaving the cell, I just like sort of squish myself in between the bars and walk out.
Love it.
Fire Lumpen is just standing in front of a Tolf and waving at him and looking around the place and just waiting for a Tolf.
So Tolf just stepped over him as he left.
Can I get my wand back, please?
He ignored you and kept walking.
You don't need that. The magic's inside you.
Okay.
That's right. The true magic is friendship, Padraig.
Yeah.
He's also looking for. He has a tiny hammer. He's also looking for. I really liked that hammer.
Yeah. As you make your way out, as you're walking out, you see one of the guards at the entrance. He's like fidgeting with this little hammer. He's not really sure what to do with it.
I'll walk over to him and ask, "Can I have my hammer back, please?"
He looks at the other guard. The other guard just kind of shrugs. He hands you the hammer, and he says, "Get out."
Thank you. And I'll give him a hug. And it'll be really, it's an uncomfortably close hug by an apron.
You see something breaks in him inside. He'd really never gotten a lot of affection growing up, or from his parents, and so really this was kind of a life-altering moment for him. And you see he holds back, but then finally a single tear comes down his cheek, and he reaches down and returns your hug.
Oh.
See, we make the world better as I walk away with the hammer. I can dry your face for you if you want.
No, say no.
No thanks.
Okay. I would have had to ask him anyway, but that's okay.
That's a great point. We need to make an addendum to our Lumpen friendship agreement. Are you guys ready?
Okay.
Always.
No magic without asking, and no using weapons without asking. And that little hammer there, that counts as a weapon. So I don't want you hammering on a building or hammering on like a child or something or someone that doesn't want to be hammered on. That would they wouldn't like that, and we don't want to make anyone upset, right?
Okay.
Okay.
Don't hammer anything that doesn't want to be hammered.
Correct. We'll see how that works out. I'm out of character. I'm not saying this like in character or anything, but the way that you're repeating things, it makes it sound like you're going to try to find loopholes, right?
That is 100% not what I was going to do.
Oh boy. I wanna head to the what was it, the tents to the south of Arrival where the Watchers are.
Sure.
Not that don't go in.
Yeah, I will say you do pass the don't go in, and the door, like everything seems very imposing, like it's trying to stop you from going in. But however, there you do hear like sounds and laughter coming from the inside. But then you pass that, you do pass.
No, I kind of want to peek in now. I want to see what it looks like on the inside.
As you get close, all the windows, they're all boarded shut. So you can just see a little light peeking out through one of the cracks. But inside, it just kind of looks like a normal inn. I think they're just going for a theme, I think. But inside it looks fine.
Can I add something to that?
Sure.
When you peek in the door, or between the cracks, one of the characters you see sitting at the table is a shrub. And I call out, "Hi, Kevin." And the shrub waves back.
There you go. I like it. Yeah. Kevin waves back. He seems to have immersed himself in the culture, and he actually seems to be pretty popular. He seems to be winning a lot at the table where the gambling's going on.
Nice. So my thought of going to that group that worships the Descended, the Overworld Watchers is what you called them, right?
Yep. Let's go with it.
And you said that they have a bunch of tents to the south of Arrival?
Yep.
Okay. I'm thinking that they will probably provide me with good food and a place to sleep, probably watch out for me and protect me while I sleep, and probably make sure that these Lumpens don't get into trouble if I could maybe find one of them that could be like a babysitter.
Possibly.
Yeah.
We're only like a week old.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing's ever gone wrong with, sleeping around crazy people, so it should be fine.
Sure.
But don't forget, I will say too, Charles Faster, he is inside of that inn as well.
Oh, okay.
You don't have to go see him, but I just want to remind you of that option.
My main concern is that if I stay at an inn where it's just me and the Lumpens, that once I fall asleep, they will wander out and burn the building down or something like that.
That's very, very possible.
Yeah.
I take great offense to that.
Okay.
Fire Lumpen understood the conditions that were placed upon him very clearly.
Okay. You know what? This is going to make for a good story. I'm going to go to the Don't Go In, and I'm going to sit down with Charles Faster and Kevin the Shrub.
Yeah. So as you walk in, so the door it looks like it's barred shut. It looks like there's a plank of wood with nails going in it across the door, but you realize that it's not actually nailed into anything on the sides of the door. So the door just easily opens, and it just seems like a regular. And it's honestly a little bit of a letdown. You thought they'd go more all out, kind of make it creepier or something, but no, it's just a normal inn on the inside. Yeah, you see several tables. There's different people gathered around, just humans, halflings, gnomes, some elves scattered about. But you see Charles Faster sitting at one of the tables. He seems to be playing cards with some humans as well as a little animated shrub.
Well, I guess I'll say we sit down because the Lumpens are riding on me, right?
Yes.
In your backpack. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it like little Yodas? Is that what's going on?
Yeah.
That's my vision.
Fire Lumpen is on his shoulder and just looking around, and you might hear the little cling, cling as the hammer keeps hitting off of Paxton's armor as he moves.
And I'm fine with it. Although you didn't ask if I wanted to be hammered.
No. It's just inside in the little pocket, in his front pocket, since he's swaying.
I see. So he's not actively hammering on me. It's a passive hammering.
Passive hammering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although, this is the place to get hammered.
This is a good group. I like this. I, for the purposes of, artistic representation, if any listeners want to draw Paxton with two Lumpens on his shoulder playing poker with a shrub, that would be pretty sweet.
Yeah, we'll give it to Pavel. So you make your way in. Charles Faster, he waves you down as you come in. He gives kind of a dirty look to Kevin the shrub and pushes the rest of his chips over and stands up. Oh, hey, welcome. I didn't know if you were going to show. I see you got some friends with you.
Hi.
Yeah. Did you just lose a bunch of money to a plant?
What? No.
That's not a plant. That's Kevin.
Yeah, that's Kevin.
He's a great guy.
Hi, Kevin.
So anyways, hey, so do you mind joining me here over by the fire? I got some things I need to talk to you about.
Sure. Yeah, we'll go over by the fire.
Yeah, so he comes and sets you down on these two warm chairs next to the fire. There's a bear rug in the middle. Hey, so I wanted to talk to you, Paxton. I've heard you're the adventuring type, right?
I suppose so.
Look, here's the thing. I've been helping out at Tolf, and he's told me about you, and I'm actually kind of excited that you're here because I need some help. There's a guy in the Great Forest. Anyways, let's just say he's a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
And he killed my father, and ever since then I've basically been trying to hunt him down, and so far I haven't been able to get to him. And anyways, I was wondering if you could help me get to him and stop him before he causes any more damage.
What's his name?
His name is Roderick.
Roderick. Whew. I thought he was going to say Frith. Nice. Okay, Roderick. How long ago did this happen?
It's been a couple of years, but he's there now, and he's been causing lots of pain and chaos, and basically I just know that if we just let it go on for too long, things could get worse and worse. And I could just really appreciate your help, and I would be willing to do whatever I could to help you.
Sure. So he killed your dad.
He did.
How many other people has he killed?
His face gets really dark, and he actually gets silent for a second. Many.
What can you tell me about this person? Are they a magic user? Are they a fighter? Like what? How are they doing all this?
He's a magic user. He has some spells, not many, but he is a fighter. He's one of the strongest men I've ever seen. He was able to just tear people apart with his bare hands, and I don't know what he's up to now since I've left. I've been trying to help out here in Arrival, but I could really use some sort of just help or assistance to try and take him down before he hurts more.
Is he kind of reclusive? Like, is he hard to find? Or if we went looking for him, would it be pretty easy to find?
I think he'd be pretty easy to find. I've talked with some of my friends, and right now I know that he's in the town of 2.
Okay. I will talk to Atolf about that tomorrow. Does Atolf know about this situation?
He kind of looks down for a second. He goes, "No, I haven't talked to him about it."
Is there a relationship between the Great Forest and the Keepers that you know of? Like, are they frenemies? You know, what's the deal?
That's a great question for you, Mike. Is it what is the societal relationship between the Great Forest and the Keepers?
So the Great Forest is somewhat insular, right? They tend to keep to themselves. They don't interact with the other parts of the world very much. They regulate entry and exit to some extent. They're not hostile. They don't consider the magistracy to be enemies, but they're not allies. Unlike, say, the Iron Empire, they consider the Iron Empire to be actual enemies. They are frequently at war with the Iron Empire. But yeah, so they're neutral with regards to the magistracy. I know that's a somewhat awkward place to end this episode, but that's where it ends. We'll return soon with more from Paxton and the Lumpens, and we'll find out what they get up to. Thanks for listening.
Hi, I'm Lumpen. Was that the right voice?
That felt right.
If anyone can hear me,
Yep.
I have frozen for Zoom.
Oh, we can hear you.
My Zoom is frozen as well.
Now you're moving again.
Sorry.
Yeah. Your video froze, but your voice was fine.
Okay.
Yep.
Even his player causes destruction.
Congrats. Happy belated birthday. I'm actually 52.
Yes, of course you are.
See, the listeners can't see me, so they just have to go by whatever I say. If for those who are listening, I'm just an old man with just a very young sounding voice.
I am 2D20 years old.